Hi there. So I just started talking about how to put away the bow properly by loosening it and how to take it out and to tighten it but not make it too tight. And so now I want to go to the violin because I know the shoulder rests can be really tricky. So this is for the young violinists, the ones who have a little foam, and how you have to, and it's about how to put the rubber bands on and things like that. Now, right now, I don't have a foam with me, but I'm using just a little dish sponge, but you can get the concept, all right? So here's the violin without anything on it. So we're going to put the shoulder rest, the foam, on the back right here. Of course, what I have is a large violin with a teeny tiny little sponge, but you can get the concept. So you'll notice on your sponge that there's a thin part and then there's a thick part. Usually it's much more severe. You can see it a lot better, but let's just pretend this is a thin part, this is a thick part, and so you hold the violin right here under your armpit like this, right? So you have it nice and secure so you can use your hands to put it on. And the thin part, right here, goes on the left side, all right? The violin facing upside down, the left side. So usually you'll see a little metal part, and mine is a little more in the center. Sometimes it's a little over this way, so you can just remember the part that dips down is on the left side near the metal, which is usually a little over there. Anyway, so you put it right here. Usually you just put it right across. It's going to be a little bit larger. Sometimes it extends the full width of the violin, and sometimes it's a little bit shorter. But you just stick it right there in the center. And then you take the rubber bands. And what I do with the kids, because their violins are very, very tiny, is that you take these rubber bands and you pull it around the chin rest. You see there's usually a space right here. And this is where you're going to put the rubber band, so it's very secure, all right? And then when you have that secure, you pull it around the instrument, and I'm going to take this off because my instrument's too big for the rubber band. But for the little ones, it'll be fine. So it's around the chin rest, and then you pull the rest of it over like this, and here you keep the foam in place, and you pull it around to these little knobs here on the violin, all right? This is not going to, yikes. That was going to be a catastrophe. Anyhow, for a smaller violin it'll be easier, but you stick it right on there and it should be just fine. It shouldn't move at all. And then you'll do the same thing for the other side. You can stick it around the chin rest, like I'd shown you before, around the chin rest, and then pull it the other direction to this side. So that should make it very secure. Sometimes we tie it around the little button here and then pull it around and down. But sometimes the button has very little clearance. It's very short, and so the rubber band could become loose and hit the child in the eye, so you really don't want to do that. So I think just play it safe. Their violins are small enough that you can put both rubber bands around the chin rest, up and around, and connecting it here to these knobs. And later on they may graduate to a different type of shoulder rest, but I think the foam is really a great way to start. So that's how you set up the violin. But in order to put the violin away, excuse me a moment, you need to take it off. Remember, take it off carefully. Like you just saw, it could have been a catastrophe, shooting someone in the eye with a rubber band. But then you have to clean your violin off. What happens with the violin is that it can collect rosin from the bow. But even if your child isn't using the bow yet with the violin, they should still get in the habit of dusting the violin off, because we have oily hands and fingers, and instruments are expensive, or you're renting it, so you want to leave it kind of immaculate. So I would just say have a little dusting over, a nice soft cotton cloth. Violin stores sell them, or if you have something around like a handkerchief or something, that's fine. You just dust it all the way. And if they are using the bow, make sure that they get right under here, under the strings. You just pull it through. And you can even go a little bit under the fingerboard, this black spot, this black part. Just give it a nice dusting in the chin rest, and all these different parts. And then you're free to put it away. So that is the upkeep of your violin. These habits will last a lifetime, hopefully. And as the instruments become more and more expensive, as they get older and bigger and more professional, these habits will be a lifesaver. Hope you enjoyed.